Hey everyone, it's Ashley Bissette Sumerel with Telltale TV. Today I am super excited to be joined by Robert Palmer Watkins, who's going to be talking to us today about his role on The Walking Dead: The World Beyond. Rob, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's good to connect with you.
Absolutely. So start just by talking a little bit about what's been the best thing for you being a part of this series.
I mean, The Walking Dead is just such a huge world and show and fan base. I mean, it's just massive. The Walking Dead has 11 seasons out, I think. They're wrapping their 11th season, right? I believe so. And then there's Fear the Walking Dead, which is huge. And then now this is the new one, Walking Dead World Beyond. So they're all created by the same creators, same writers. So it's really cool to see how they're kind of intertwining these different spin-offs, almost like the Marvel universe, where all the stories kind of coexist and link into each other. And it's really cool. And I believe they're wrapping up all the series, the TV series, and moving on to a movie franchise. So to get to be part of the tail end of the TV storylines, that are leading into this movie world, is really exciting, really special. And just being on a set, in a production with that type of budget and that type of manpower and that type of creative talent was just really, really special. I just felt honored to be there. Now I can officially say I will always be a part of the Walking Dead universe, which is pretty cool.
And it's interesting because a lot of people are going to recognize you as Dillon Quartermaine from General Hospital, right? Wildly different character. So
Very different.
What was that like? I mean, that had to have been sort of fun to play someone so different from a role like Dillon Quartermaine.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I think I bring a little bit of myself to every role I play. I think every actor does. And I think the strength that Dillon Quartermaine had, he was a really good guy and a nice guy, but he also was a Quartermaine, and he didn't let people walk over him. If people, did his family or his friends wrong, he definitely had something to say about it. So he had a strength about him. And I think that's similar, they're similar in that way. Lieutenant Frank Newton on The Walking Dead and Dillon Quartermaine, they're definitely not pushovers. But Dillon Quartermaine was definitely a good guy and a nice guy. Whereas Lieutenant Frank Newton is, although his intentions, he thinks he's doing what's best for the world, his actions in order to carry out his end goal are pretty corrupt and pretty nasty. So it was really cool to get to kind of play a bad guy in The Walking Dead, and also just get to do my own stunts and fight work and stunt gun work, and it was just a lot of fun. It was hot though. I had to wear a very hot, thick like futuristic soldier uniform, and it was made out of the stuff that wetsuits are made out of. What is that material called? I forget.
Oh, gosh.
I forget, but it's, what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't breathe because it's supposed to keep you warm. And that's what they made these uniforms out of. So it was hot, but so rewarding.
So talking a little bit about some of the fight scenes and stunt work. First one I would actually like to talk to you about is you posted on your Instagram this explosion.
Yeah.
And like some behind the scene, like what it looked like on screen versus what it looked like behind the scenes. Can you talk a little bit about filming that particular scene?
Yeah, I mean, that was what a cool scene, right? This big explosion in this warehouse, and these stunt guys, it just blew my mind. I mean, I got to do some of my own stunt work, but the dangerous stuff like that, where we're dealing with fire and explosions, they obviously bring in the real deal. But yeah, I mean, it's just so cool to see these stunt guys just throw themselves into danger, like, and make it look easy. I mean, I don't think they get enough credit. It's just really cool to watch. It's scary to watch, but it's cool to watch. But yeah, that scene was really fun. They basically had these two stunt guys. They had them attached to like bungee cables, and they basically blow up this wall. And as they blow it up, the bungee cables pull these two stunt guys back. So it looks like they're being, thrown back from the explosion. And then they land on these big, like, cushion pads. But obviously in the final scene, it looks like they're being killed. But It's crazy. A lot of movie magic, a lot of TV magic. And like I said, like being on this production, they've got the budget to really do things big and make them look really real. So it's pretty cool. My stunt double actually was the same stunt double that stunt doubles Captain America, which is pretty awesome.
That's neat.
Yeah, it was cool.
Those are interesting details, I feel like, just to get a chance to, I mean, to understand that's not always you. And I always like seeing the pictures that people will post of the actor next to their stunt double, you know, dressed the same and stuff like that. I think that's always pretty fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Luckily, I did get to do a lot of my own stuff in this, like the fight scene, the big scene and the finale. You know, I learned the whole fight. I did the whole fight, and then they would swap me out and have the stunt double do the whole fight too. So it's a combination of both of us, you know what I mean? But I did do all those moves as well. So thank God though that we had somebody jumping in and doing it with us, because it was so, like I said, it was so hot that day in Richmond, Virginia, where we were filming, and the uniforms, the costumes were so hot that like basically we would do the scene once, then we would jump out and they would jump in and do it, and then we would switch back on and off, you know. And that was a blessing that we had stunt doubles, because like it was very, very hot. But that was one of the most rewarding. That was the hardest day of work that I've ever had as an actor, but it was the most rewarding once we finished.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big fight scene, and very, I mean, very clearly like well choreographed and very elaborate.
Yeah, and we learned it all in like a few days. I mean, it was fast. So crazy. I was nervous, but like I said, I mean, the stunt guys, they trained stunt team, they got on board, and everybody was just super helpful, and we got to just practice it, you know, on set. And pulled it off, I guess. I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm kind of jealous you already watched it. I'll have to go pull it up on the app. It's
good. It's gruesome.
Yeah.
It's real gruesome. So talk about that, because your character doesn't mean a happy end.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. You know, spoiler alert, I guess, if anybody out there hasn't watched it. But yeah, my character, you know, the fight doesn't necessarily go well for me, for Lieutenant Frank Newton. It was a lot of fun, you know, sitting there and getting attacked by the zombies after the fight. It was pretty gross. They had guts all hanging out of me, and I don't even know what it was made out of. I think it was like, I'm not even sure, but it looked like guts, and it was all over me. And it was just cool. I remember laying there on set, and I looked up at Matt Negretti, the writer and creator of the show, or one of the creators of the shows, and I said, "So does this mean that I'm not going to be in the movie franchise?" As I've got like guts and, you know, blood all over me, and everybody laughed. So it was pretty cool. Gross though. It was kind of gross to be sitting in all that and having like 7 zombies pretending to eat me, you know.
How hard was that to film? And how long did it take, do you think?
Well, we shot that whole us running through the forest, the gun firing stuff, to the fight, to, you know, me dying at the end. We shot all that in the same day. So it was a long day. It was basically the whole day was just that. And like I said, it was brutal. I mean, it was a really, really hard day of work. Even Nico, he plays opposite of me. Obviously, he's one of the leads on the show, and he even said it was probably the most grueling day he's had as an actor, because it was hot. It was in the middle of summer in Richmond, Virginia. The humidity was crazy. We had a very physical scene we had to do, multiple physical scenes and dialogue. And we were in, again, our costumes. I mean, he was in a leather jacket. I'm in like that full on soldier uniform. It doesn't move very easily either. We're fighting on concrete, you know, and we're with these big, heavy, like spear things. So it was a hard day. It took everybody really pulling together and supporting each other. But again, like by the end of the day, we were just like, it was like, wow, we did that, you know? So I've been really looking forward to seeing how that scene turns out.
I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see the whole thing.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, right.
I was like, I can't. I was looking like, you know, right. it was rough, but no, I think it turned out really cool. Talk a little bit about with that final fight scene, the stuff that's going on between your character and Felix. There's a really personal dig with
Right.
the looking at his psych. Your character, brings in the psych report and is trying to, get under his skin that way. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was cool because, throughout the season, Lieutenant Frank Newton, you gotta love him, but he comes in and he's just kind of stoic and he says a couple lines and then he leaves and he's just kind of one note, you know what I mean? Tough, stoic soldier guy, which is fun to play, but obviously as an actor, you want to go deeper and you want a little more to work with. So I was really, really excited when I read the script for 9 and 10, and I was like, okay, cool. Here's a little character development here. He's got, he's got a little more personal beef with Felix than we've seen. It was really fun. I mean, he's an asshole in that scene, and he really bullies Felix, and he did his research on what he should say to get under Felix's skin, and it was cool. It was a cool little monologue. I was excited to play with that, and I obviously got what I deserved afterwards, but
in the most disgusting of ways. I mean, I may not get over it. All right. Well, in addition to acting, I know that you're also doing your music. And so I wanted to see if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, totally. I've got my first 2 singles are out on Spotify and Apple and Amazon and Pandora. They're everywhere. First single was called Waiting. The second single was called Clean Cut. Those are both also, the music videos are up on YouTube, doing really well. People are really responding good to the first 2. So I'm excited. I just actually shot my third single is coming out the middle of December. Not sure the exact date yet, but that song is called Walking Dead. And it's not about zombies or anything. I just thought it was kind of cool to use a, kind of reference the show a little bit, but it's actually not about that at all. It's about a relationship and, how it feels to be in a relationship and holding on to something or someone, even though you're just kind of walking dead. You're walking in a circle, you're walking as a zombie, and you're just kind of living, you're just kind of going through the motions, but you're not really, it's time to end it. So I thought that was a cool title. And, because I'm on the show too, I thought it was kind of cool to just do a little throwback to that. But we shot the music video in Utah last week. And the music videos turned out beautifully. It's simple, but the song is a slower, simpler song than my last 2. It's a little more of a ballad, and I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited. So yeah, you can find my music everywhere. I'm going by Palmer for my music, which is my middle name. Robert Palmer Watkins was just way too long for the music world, so just sticking with Palmer. But I'm excited. I mean, I've been wanting to do original music for a long time. And I just, 1, didn't have the balls yet to do it. And 2, I was so focused on acting, but when I started doing some music covers and posting a little bit here and there on social media, people liked it. And then General Hospital let me perform on the show a couple times. And then I happened to meet a producer, Brendan Martin, who we became really close friends, and he, worked with me in the studio, and we started writing, and he loved my voice, especially when recorded. And we just started going. And then we got a music investor last year, Leah Sturgis, to come on board, and she's been really helping fund a lot of the projects. And she also directed the Waiting music video, which was cool. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to do it all. People are always like, what are you? What do you want to do? An actor or a singer? And I'm like, I'm both. I want to do both. I'm an artist. I want to create, so yeah, we'll see, but I'm excited for 2022 for sure.
Good. Well, that's awesome. Rob, thank you again so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you so much for having me.